this session, we will see the programming part of LPC 2148. We will write programming in embedded C, and we will control the Genie inside LPC 2148 microcontroller for doing powerful applications by writing a piece of source code in embedded C. So we'll quickly go through the embedded C part today, and then we'll write simple programs to start programming the LPC 2148 microcontroller. And in due course, we will see the internal peripherals of LPC 2148 one by one, and then start coding them. Let us move on. So I'll quickly run through the important parts of the embedded C programming. So in any programming part, as I always tell you, the 5 important components that you should be focusing upon is what are the data types? The first one, what are the important data types? The second one is the operators. The third one is conditional statement, how to take decisions based on conditional statements. And then how do you loop repetitively a certain block of source code over and over again and again. Last but not the least, how to use. So this is the bare minimal requirement for learning any programming language. So whenever you are starting a programming language, these are the 5 concepts that you have to quickly touch upon to start using it. And later on, when you go further, you can dwell deep into it. So to start with, these are the 5 fundamental concepts that you have to understand to get a hold of that particular programming language. So embedded C is a programming language which is similar or in line with C programming language, which is more predominantly used for programming firmware development for embedded microcontrollers and processors. So the way in which we do, or the style in which we do the coding, is optimized for memory scarce devices like microcontrollers, where we have the memory resources which are limited, and it is not as extensive as it is available in desktop environment. In a desktop environment, we really don't bother about the size of the variable. Here, every byte of data that we declare and use is accountable, and we have to use it with the utmost responsibility. So the first one comes comment. This is single line commenting, and this is block commenting. So this is something that you know already. Comments do not affect the code size, which means however the comments are, the number of comments, it is not going to add to the final code size. Comments are used only for your understanding. Do comment it so that it is easy for you to understand later on when you go through the code. So let us start our discussion with operators. The first one comes assignment versus comparison operator. Many of you confuse these 2 operators. X equal to 10 means I assign a value of 10 to a variable called X, whereas X equal to 10 means I am checking whether X is equal to 10. So these 2 are entirely different. Assignment versus comparison. Next one is logical operator. For combining decisions, we use logical AND, logical OR, and logical NOT. Okay. The most widely used operator is shift operator. X is equal to temp left shifted by 4 times. So this will shift the data available in temp 4 times and assign that value to X. Similarly, Y is equal to temp right shifted by 9 times. In this case, the value available in temp is shifted right 9 times, and that value is assigned to Y. So left shift and right shift operators are very, very, very important in LPC 2148 programming because we use them very extensively. The most important operator again in LPC 2148 is bitwise operator, where we do bit level operation. So this is bitwise AND, bitwise OR, bitwise NOT, or 1's complement. It will simply invert the bits from 1 to 0 and 0 to 1. And this is bitwise exclusive OR operator. And this is pretty straightforward. Arithmetic addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Increment and decrement operator we use for shorthand notation. And here comes the second part, which is the data types. Character data type in LPC 2148 C compiler is 8 bits long. Integer is 32 bits long by default, unless in 8-bit variant where it is 2 byte. In 32-bit variant, it is 4 byte. Float is again 4 byte, 32 bits. Long integer is 64 bit, which is 8 byte. Floating point double variant is again 64. So in terms of bytes, a character is 1 byte data type. integer is 4-byte data type, float is again a 4-byte data type, long is 8-byte, and double is again 8-byte. So these are the important data types, and we don't deal bit level data types in LPC 2148. Third part comes the conditional statements for taking decisions. The first is if the condition is true, then do this part of the code. In order to achieve this condition, we use the all important conditional operators or relational operators. What are the relational operators? Suppose if I have two numbers x and y, if I want to compare them, okay, so the first way to compare them is equal to, whether the two numbers are equal, whether they are not equal, whether one number is greater than other number, where one number is greater or equal to other number, where one number is less than other number, and one number is less than or equal to other number. These are the various ways in which we can compare these two numbers, and these conditional operators we use extensively in decision making, especially in if statement. So this is the first variant of if statement. The second variant of if statement is we use an else condition. So if this condition is true, then execute this part, else you execute this part. This is an if else condition. The third variant of that is multiple if else. If condition 1 is true, do this, else. If condition 2 is true, do this, else. If condition 3 is true, do this. Finally, none of the condition is true, do something else. This is a if else, multiple if else block. So this is the third variant of that. So this is pretty straightforward. And the fourth part is the looping structures, where we make use of the construct for repeating the same block of instructions again and again, over and over. We use two variants. One is a for loop, the other one is a while loop. The construct for the for loop is initialization, conditional checking, and the increment or decrement block. So for count equal to 0, count less than 10, count plus plus executes this block of statement 10 times. So we use for loop extensively for repeating a block of code or section of code for fixed number of iterations. The other variant of for loop is do nothing for loop. We use do nothing for loop for creating software delays. For count equal to 0, count less than 50,000, count plus plus, and I put an empty parenthesis here without anything inside. This is called a do nothing for loop. What is the purpose of this do nothing for loop? We simply make the processor to loop 50,000 cycles without doing anything, which means we are eventually wasting the time of the processor. So this is basically used for creating software delays. The other way of writing the same source code is you can avoid these two braces and put a semicolon at the end, which means this is the other way of writing it. For I equal to 0, I less than 10,000, I plus plus. Instead of putting an empty parenthesis, you can put a semicolon at the end. Both are same. So this is a neat way of doing that. So we use the for loop extensively. The next one is a while loop. A while loop is again a widely used looping construct. The syntax for that is while condition is true, then the body of the while loop is getting executed. As long as the conditional statement is true, then the body of the while loop will get executed. In microcontroller or embedded programming, we use a specialized while construct, namely an infinite while loop. While one means this condition is always true. So if it is always true, whatever the block that you are going to put inside is always going to get executed, which means our main code or the main source code of our microcontroller always goes inside this infinite while loop. So this while one block or an infinite while loop block is a part of the main code of any embedded program. And last but not the least, the fifth block or the fifth part of programming comes the functions part. In the functions part, we have four variants. The first variant is it doesn't take any parameter, neither it returns any value. Okay, so that is the first type. It neither takes a parameter nor it returns a value. Both of them are void. So it simply executes a block of. That is the first variant. The second variant is it it actually doesn't return anything, whereas it takes a parameter. So it takes a parameter called millisecond, and that millisecond is passed as a parameter in order to affect the way this source code is going to get executed. For example, in this case, I would love to have a millisecond parameter to change the delay time of this function. So this is a fixed delay. This becomes a variable delay. So the moment I pass the number of milliseconds that I want as a delay, the functionality of the delay program now gets varied depending upon the parameter that I pass. So this is the second variant where it is not returning anything, but it takes a parameter. The third variant is it actually doesn't take any parameter, but it returns a value to the calling function, which means, say, for example, I am acquiring an ADC value from a channel. So this function gets the ADC value and returns the value from the ADC in the form of a data to the calling function. And the fourth variant is it is also getting a parameter as input, and it is also returning a value to the user. That is the fourth variant. This is the third variant, and this is the fourth variant. In the fourth variant, it is accepting a value as parameter, and it is also returning a value to the user. Say, for example, I am using the same ADC function. In this case, since my LPC2148 has 14 channels, I'm just passing which channel I want the data, so that the same function can be reused for multiple channels. So whichever channel I am interested in, I pass that as a parameter. That channel, the ADC function will get the data and it will return the value. So the calling function has to use the 4 different types of functions like this. In the first variant, it simply calls the function without any passing parameter. In the second variant, the calling function has to pass the parameter which is expected, so that the function makes use of that parameter for doing something useful. In the third variant, get ADC data, it is not accepting a parameter, but it is returning a value. So whenever a function is returning a value, it is mandatory that you have to assign that value by using a variable. So I'm using a variable called my data and assign the value returned by that fellow to a variable, so that the value is received and stored here. In the last data type, again the same function, but in this case it is also accepting a parameter. So what am I doing? I am passing 10th channel where I want the data, and the returned value is again assigned to a variable called my data. So in this case, I am assigning a value and also I'm passing the parameter. So when you are using these functions, you have to be cautious whether the return value is assigned to a variable, so that the same thing can be reused later on. So I'm just keeping it the lean methodology. Lean methodology means something which is the very minimal and very essential part of the programming. Okay.